I'm Helen Isaac. I'm the founder of the Trusted Coach Directory. I founded the directory in November 2016, so been going for about 4 years now. And I set up the directory because, as you all know, coaching is unregulated. Anyone can call themselves a coach, and they do. And it was my mission to raise the profile of good quality professional coaching and coaches, to raise the standard of coaching and to raise the credibility of coaching. And so part of that promise, really, and part of my mission is delivering these calls here and inviting our TCD coaches and our community coach members to come and take part in our Monday calls and our Wednesday calls. Mondays tend to be marketing focused. Jackie Jarvis, who you'll see on the call, runs some of our Monday calls. We bring in some experts, some guest people, coaches, marketers, and of course we've got Nikki here today. And on Wednesdays we talk about coaching topics and supervision topics and have really rich discussions. I'm sure those of you who come to some of those know how good they are. I think they're really good. So for those of you who are new to the directory, I'll send you more information about the different membership levels we have after the call or at some stage this afternoon. So that's enough about me for the moment and the directory. Let me introduce you to Nikki. Let me refer to my notes here because Nikki's done so much. So we've got Nikki Wild today talking about the 5 pillars of a profitable coaching business, which is what we all want. Nikki is accredited with the IAPC&M as a fellow coach and master mentor. IAPC&M, that is the International Authority for Professional Coaching and Mentoring. So Nikki's a fellow coach, a master mentor. She's also a certified master coach, certified practitioner for Brian Main's goal mapping, disc profiling and NLP. She's also a trainer and coach with the Finance Training Academy, and she's head of education for the IAPC&M. She founded her business called Wild Empowerment in 2009 to work with professional service providers and executives to better manage their organisations, their time and themselves. And Nikki's got a great strapline. She specialises in de-stressing directors and getting teams to play nicely. And I know you're in really capable hands here. So let me hand over straight to Nikki.
Hi everyone, it is lovely to be here. I'm feeling very privileged that I get to sit on this side of the screen. Normally I'm with all of you participating in the meetings, and it's a real privilege to be able to share some hopefully very valuable content with you all today. So thank you for coming and keeping us company. I've got 2 screens set up, so just so you know, I can see all your happy smiley faces on here, so do feel free to wave and give me thumbs ups and things. Oh, waving and smiling, it's like magic. And I've got the second screen with all this content I'm going to share with you as well. So if you see me looking backwards and forwards, that's what I'm looking at what you're seeing. As Helen said earlier, I am going to go through this really quickly because there is a lot to it. That said, we're recording this session so you can watch it back again at your own pace later on. And there is I've got a 20-page ebook version of all the content which goes into more explanation and will give you a bit more information, and you can have that with my compliments. So we'll give you the link through the sessions. You can go and download that and have a read at your leisure as well. The other reason I'm going to go through this quite quickly is because we want to have time for you to go into the breakout rooms and have a bit of a conversation about how this is relevant in your own coaching context. And so that if I can go through this at a sort of summary level, then that will give you a chance to have a bit of a chat with yourself. So as you know, it's 5 pillars of a profitable business. So what we'll do is we'll set up 5 breakout rooms, and Zoom will randomly assign you to one of the 5 rooms, and you can have a talk about the corresponding pillar in whichever room you end up in. So that's just to prompt you to have a think about what you might want to discuss in the breakout rooms when we get to that point. So without further ado, let me share the notes on the screen. We're recording this anyway, so if you need to take screenshots as we go, if that helps, then absolutely fine with that. I'm okay with you doing that if that's helpful. I've said that the reason for this is to get clarity and confidence in your coaching business. Is it fair to say that we would like clarity? We'd always like to feel confident that our business is working the way we would like it to do. I'm looking to see whether anyone's nodding in agreement with me. I'm getting some nods. So clarity and confidence. And In 2018, the IAPC&M, as part of what I was doing for the education content there, we surveyed the accredited coaches to ask what were the challenges in their coaching businesses. And the results came back overwhelmingly that it was to do with generating money, so stuff around clients and revenue building, but there were also a whole load of other challenges as well. And so I've pulled into the 5 pillars elements from the survey results from that, and from the coaches that I've mentored and the coaches that I've talked to, and also conversations in the Trusted Coach Directory, discussions that we've had in our Mondays and Wednesdays. So I talked about the 5 pillars of a profitable business. Your coaching business, if it's going to be profitable, every single thing that you do falls into one of these 5 pillars. And the first 2, pillar 1 and 2, are external facing. They're the things that are bringing money into your coaching business. And that is everything to do with the products and services that you are selling to your clients, and everything to do with those clients. Your clients, the purchasers of those services are your clients. And I'll go through each of the 5 pillars in turn so you get some clarity around what each one is. So we've got those 2 things that are focusing on the external activity, what's raising your attention, what's bringing money into the business, and hopefully at a profitable rate. And then we've got all the internal activity. So slap bang in the middle of your business is you. You are the coach. You are the person whose business this is. Your business is your baby, your project, your passion. So you sit at the heart of it, which is why the people are right bang in the middle in pillar number 3. The people might be you, and also it's who is your extended team around you. So we'll talk about that briefly. And then pillar 4 is the plan. What is the plan for your business? This is not having to write a really big, complicated business plan. This is just you knowing that you have a plan, and we'll talk about that. And then finally, pillar number 5 is the engine room, if you like, the processes and systems that are making it all run smoothly, making it all hang together. So you've got these 5 pillars, and as I said, everything you do falls into one of those 5, and they're all interconnected. So you will have a sales process, for example. So there'll be a process that will support pillar 1. So you can start to see as we go through it that they're all interconnected. So pillar number 1 then, what do we mean by products? Everything to do with generating something that you can sell to another person. So in coaching context, that is our coaching programs. How do we deliver it? Are you doing group coaching, one-to-one coaching? Are you using tools, models, exercises? How are you packaging it up? How are you setting your prices? How are your sales conversations going? Are you having the right sorts of conversations that are converting your clients and attracting you the right level of client at the right fee level? And how do you onboard those clients? So have you got an automated process when you first start working with a new person? Have you got processes and systems that will allow you to automate that? So everything to do with how you deliver your coaching fits into pillar number 1. Pillar number 2 is everything to do with the purchases, as I said. So this is a combination of your marketing activity, so how you are attracting those clients in the first place, how are you getting your message out to them, and once you've connected with those humans, how are you keeping in touch with them? How are you managing the relationship? How are you making sure that they're getting what they need from you? So everything to do with that connection, that relation, that retention, and is under pillar 2. So I was looking from a coaching point of view, we've got our branding and our niche decisions. So which groups of people do we work with? You might have referral relationships, whether that's referrals from existing clients or past clients, or whether it's referral partners where you've got connections with complementary individuals who will, and maybe you've got cross referrals going on. Maybe you've got associate arrangements, either you use associates or you are an associate for another organization, and affiliates who are perhaps referring you business. And as I said, everything to do with the client relationships. And one of the things that I was doing a few days ago, as part of our Trusted Coach Directory membership, we have access to a fantastic resource library, included in which are a series of expert interviews. And so as part of the follow up from here, I would definitely encourage you, if you're looking at some of the pillars and maybe thinking about where you might want to start working on one of the pillars in your business, maybe go and investigate the expert interviews in the resource library. So I know there are, I was looking through, we've got recordings, for example, under pillar 1, there are recordings to do with pricing, so setting up online programs, which would be an automated way of delivering it, how to monetize your audience, that would be a pillar 1 subject. There's an awful lot, there's a huge wealth of information under pillar 2, a whole range of expert interviews to do with different aspects of marketing, choosing your niche. There are interviews on getting referrals, making sure your clients have a personal experience, podcasting, LinkedIn, video, and writing books. So there's a whole load of information available for you to go and have a read as part of that member benefit that is available through Trusted Coach Directory. So there's I would definitely advocate going and having a look at some of those if either of those 2 pillars is somewhere where you feel that you want some extra support. The reason why I talk about pillars, excuse me, is because the analogy I use in the ebook, and excuse me, when I'm doing this with small businesses, is think about your business. Oh, excuse me, just clear my throat for a sec. If you think of your business as being built on strong pillars, if you think of Stonehenge, so who's been to Stonehenge or driven past Stonehenge on the 303? Yes, most of you. If you think about those huge, great, big, solid stone pillars that have stood there for years. A few of them have fallen over, but most of them are still solid and built, and then you've got the big stone platforms sitting on the top. And if you imagine your business is like that, it's sitting on those pillars of the business, and you want them to be absolutely rock solid so that your business is sound. And if any of those pillars goes a bit crumbly or a bit wobbly, how is that going to support your business? So as we go through these, just have a think about which of these pillars is working well for you, which one is perhaps feeling a little bit wobbly or a little bit crumbly, and where might it need some attention. So those first 2 pillars, as I said, are everything external, everything that's bringing revenue into the business, hopefully at a profitable level. Obviously, you've got costs of marketing, costs of delivering your services. When we move now into the internal side of things, from actually, before that, I reminded myself, I did promise you in the session blurb that I would take you through the C.L.E.A.R the C.L.E.A.R steps for keeping your customers happy. And this is all in the ebook as well. So what do I mean by C.L.E.A.R? C.L.E.A.R stands for getting clear about your clients. So a little thought exercise for you, five questions. How clearly defined are your ideal customers, clients? So C stands for clients, defined as ideal, your perfect client. If you think about who your perfect client is, how clearly defined are they for you? And then L is loving what you do. Because if our clients absolutely love what you do, you end up with raving fans. They're more loyal, they're more likely to come back for more work with you, and they're more likely to tell other people nice things about you, which is where the referrals come from. So we want clients who love what we do. And then E is, what evidence are you gathering? So do you remember to ask for testimonials from everybody you work with? Are you getting LinkedIn reviews? Are you creating case studies to describe some examples of the sorts of clients that you've worked with? Because all that evidence that you're gathering is what's reassuring your next prospect that you're the right coach for them. So we want to be gathering evidence. And then A is about clients being active. So my definition of a perfect client is not anyone with a pulse and a wallet. Pulse plus cash does not equal ideal client. For me, an ideal client, out of all the prospects that I know and the conversations that I have, some of them will be a very slow burn. Some of them, it might take months or even years before they choose to work with me. Others will be ready right now because they know that there's a problem and today's the day they need to solve it. And those are the ones that I describe as active. They are actively seeking our services as coaches here today. So they are ready to buy your services right now. So have you identified which of your contacts and which of your prospects are actively looking for your help today, and which are the ones that are going maybe later and you just want to keep in touch with those in a different way? And then R stands for the relevance of your message and your method. So we need to not only make sure we're saying the right things to the right people, but we're doing it through the right platforms. So, for example, most of us here are executive coaches. We're working in the executive and leadership space. So for the majority of us, LinkedIn will be a relevant social media platform, possibly less so TikTok videos, for example. If I think about my finance executive audience, LinkedIn's definitely the place I need to be, probably not Instagram or Facebook. But I know that if I'm working a different niche, different platforms will be relevant. So how relevant is not only what you are saying, but where you are saying it, the method and medium by which you are getting that message out. So that's just a little bit of a thought exercise under pillar 2. And perhaps when those of you who end up in breakout room 2, we'll have a chat about what came up for you applying the C.L.E.A.R model. Which brings me to pillar number 3, the people in the business. So from our coaching point of view, if I'm doing this with a small business, we'll be looking at the roles and responsibilities. Does everyone know what's expected of them? Is the right capability in the business? What development needs are there? The culture, the values, the behavior that's going on. When the business is just you, or you and a very small team, then obviously most of that is on you. And what happens with most of the coaches that I know is that we tend to walk around with it all in our heads. And you'll be and most of them benefit from getting it out of their heads and written down somewhere. So one of the interesting things is, if everything is on you, are you clear what hat you are wearing each day? So are you going in with your marketing hat on, or your finance hat on, or your admin hat on, or your coach hat on? Which role are you performing for your business today? And then we also have things like, what continuous professional development do we need? What certification or accreditation might we be maintaining for our professional standards? I've put in there coach mentor. Who is your coach? Who is your mentor? Who are you working with? So whilst we do this for our clients, who is doing that for us? So we are performing at our best. And then who else might be your extended support of help? So most of the coaches that I know start out with getting some help with the numbers, because well, those of you who know me know that I am still a qualified accountant. I was a former finance director in my last employed positions. But for most of us, most coaches are not born accountants. If we were, we'd be accountants, not coaches. So most people will probably want some help from an accountant or some bookkeeping help. Perhaps a PA or VA, personal assistant or virtual assistant, to help with the admin or keep us organised. Some marketing assistants. Marketing is not my forte, so I have a team who do my content marketing for me. I've outsourced that because otherwise it wouldn't have happened. And then there may be some associates. Either you're using associates, maybe you're partnering with other coaches. Helen mentioned that I'm a DISC specialist. I sometimes go in and deliver DISC workshops or DISC profiling projects within a wider project for another coach under their umbrella, because they bring me in as a specialist just to do that little bit for them while they're involved in bigger projects. So maybe you've got associate arrangements and you're having to work with people that way. Moving into more of the sort of the nuts and bolts of running your business side of things. The reason that I put the business plan, or the plan for the business, as pillar 4 is that most people who come to me have got a problem with pillars 1, 2 and 3. That's where we start. Either they tell me they're not making enough money, or they aren't getting the right clients and customers, or they're not getting them at the right levels, or the people are not playing nicely together. As Helen said, I de-stress directors and I get their teams to play nicely together. So it's usually the first 3 pillars are the things that need the attention first. And then we go back to, well, what was the plan for the business and where does that need improving or tweaking or developing? Now, this is where I expect every coach to be in their element, because boy, do we like setting goals. We like setting a vision and where are we going to? And so I'm hoping that for all of you, this bit will come much more naturally than perhaps it would with some of my small business clients, for example. So what is your vision? What mission are you on with your clients? I'm on a mission to de-stress directors. What mission are you on in your business? What specific goals are you setting for your coaching business, and what steps and actions are you putting in place for those? And I've put under there's a capacity planning element of this. If we are if it is just us delivering the coaching, there's only so many hours in the day. We are only one human. So there's a limit to how much we can deliver, and how might you want to extend that capacity, or if you haven't, or do you know what the limit of your capacity is, and how do you manage that? And when we're in this space, thinking about what's the plan for the business, we're one step ahead, or maybe 2 steps ahead. So day to day, the coaching business is doing what it does. When we step into pillar number 4, we're thinking, okay, so while that's going on, what do I need to put in place next? It's that what next question for what next for your coaching business. And when you go into your breakout rooms, particularly a post-COVID, what next for your coaching business? We've all had an awful lot of change over the last 12 months. How has that affected your business, and what next for where you want to take your coaching? And then finally, in pillar number 5, this is not necessarily the sexy place, but it is the lifeblood of the business. It's the bit that's the engine room that keeps everything else running smoothly. So what have you put in place to help you to manage the admin, the IT, and to make sure that you are legal and compliant? Things like insurance, health and safety. If you're working with young people or vulnerable adults, have you got the right DBS checks in place, for example? So there's a whole load of activities that you might put in place behind the scenes to make sure that things are running smoothly. There's one of the expert interviews under pillar 5 is talking about systems and apps. So what can you automate? I use one of the online diary booking systems, which is much easier to be able to just share a link, and then people can go and book their slots with me rather than having emails backwards and forwards trying to arrange meetings, for example. So under this pillar, you're thinking about how can you make the engine run more smoothly? What else could you put in place that would help it to all work really easily for you? And I've put in pillar 5 the financial management, because as a business, the business needs us to manage the money. One of my mantras that I drum into my clients over and over again is earn it, then spend it. What are you doing to earn it? And then how are you going to choose to spend it, rather than the other way around? Thinking about how are you going to manage the money? How do you want to keep track of your progress against all your goals and your progress? And what could you automate to make your life easier? So one of the questions to ask yourself here is, how much is your time worth? So yes, you could do it yourself. Is that the best use of your time? And is there a more lucrative way for you to spend your time if you had to either use somebody else, either outsource it to another person, or found a way to automate or systemize some of what you're doing? And you can see that, as I said, all these pillars are interlinked. But for example, your client onboarding, you might have an automated way of onboarding new clients, which saves you time, and anything that you do repetitively can be automated to make it run more smoothly. So that is your whistle-stop tour of all of the 5 pillars. I did tell you there was an awful lot to cover, and there is a lot to think about there. So I'm going to go through, as I said, 5 sort of sets of questions that you might consider. So if you want to make a note of, just jot down a couple of questions under pillars 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or take a screenshot, so that when you're in your breakout chats, depending on which room number you end up in, you'll have a couple of questions to talk about. So think about under pillar 1, if you're in breakout 1, what sorts of services are your clients demanding of you right now? How successful are your sales conversations converting clients? And are you comfortable with the pricing level that you've set for yourself? Maybe under pillar 2, think about how effectively is your marketing working for you at the moment? Are you attracting the right conversations with the right clients? How loyal are your clients? How many of your clients choose to repeat your program or extend working with you because they love what you do and they don't want it to end? And how ideal are those clients that you're working with at the moment? And then under pillar 3, thinking about how are you looking after yourself? What personal development do you need? That might be personal development on the self-care side of things, the well-being. It might be developing your skills on the business side of things, developing your skills to run the business. And who else is part of your success team? Or who might you like to have in your success team if you haven't got them yet? And thinking about the roles, the responsibilities, those different hats that you wear. What are the different hats that you wear in your business? And have you got the balance right between all of that? And then pillar 4, have a think about what is that vision for your business? What mission are you on in your business, and how are you going to put that into practice? What sorts of goals might you need to set for your business, and how are you going to achieve them? And then pillar 5, what are all the processes, the systems that you've got in place supporting everything else that you do? What spring cleaning might your business benefit from right now? We're coming into spring. I've got blue sky and sunshine outside. There are flowers starting to sprout. So what might you need to put in place to support the smooth running of your business, to make it all work? Or what spring cleaning might it need? So I'm conscious that I have talked an awful lot and haven't had a chance. Are there any, to ask specific questions, is everyone happy with what we might go and talk about in the breakout chat? So does anybody need to clarify anything or ask any questions before we open the breakout rooms? We all good? Any questions or anything you need me to clarify about any of the 5 pillars before we go into chats?